My name is Chris. This is my wife, Amanda. We live in Bloomington, Indiana.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom until my sister and I were probably in junior high or high school, so Dad was the only one who worked, so he always instilled good finances and good money keeping.
Not really growing up with a father, I guess you can say. I've noticed as I got older, I was just easily influenced by the lifestyle that was bringing the money that we didn't have. And the first time I ever saw cash in my life was just $2,000 cash being laid down just for somebody driving somebody around for the night in LA. I sold marijuana on the streets. When I was 13, it was actually a neighbor of mine that got me into it. For 25 years, from when I was 13 years old, I hustled on the street. In 2002, I was declared the second largest marijuana distributor in Bloomington, Indiana, by local PD. I started meeting up with these other guys. And these guys were just doing so many good things. Like, they were always happy and smiling. They didn't have, like, the background that I had. So it was like a whole different world, and I was just so drawn to them. And you always hear when you're growing up, the good die young. But man, I've known some cats that are good that have died young, and I just don't understand it. My best friend, Richard, there was a home invasion. 3 guys that went in the house and told everybody to get on the ground and just started shooting people. Richard caught him around the shoulder, and he bled out on the way to Wishart in Indianapolis. And I was riding around mad. I really wanted to get somebody. And I remember riding around in my car with a 100-round drum on an AR-15 in my trunk. And I'm flipping through the radio, and I hear this voice. But he's talking about God, and he's talking about money, and so I continued. Every day, I would be driving around anyway. I'd just be listening to this Dave Ramsey guy. And he started talking about things that was just really starting to hit me. Like, he would quote Zig Ziglar, James Maxwell. So I'd start listening to them, hear what those guys had to say. And, you know, Dave always talked about integrity and hard work. And here I am with ample opportunities that I've had along the way to get away from that lifestyle, but I just never did. And when I started listening to Dave and Zig and John, that's when I stumbled across integrity and morality and hard work. And I'm just thinking, wow, all this stuff I've never heard of before. And here I am. I found out I was deep in personal development. So I just continued that path. And of course, I had gotten out of that life, continuing just the personal development aspect, always learning, just constantly. I'm always looking for some new substance. I want to hear more, you know. And so started working. I was out in people's yards, cleaning up brush. I was doing what I've been hearing on the radio, getting out there and working. You know, I wasn't going to be riding around and just trying to live off everybody else's work. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's all about what you do in this life, you know. And I was still doing the whole personal development. I was listening to him. That was the key back then. I was listening. But I'd never really enacted the whole Dave Ramsey plan.
He just came home one day and was like, hey, we're doing this. We're selling your car. No, we're not.
That was kind of before I started actually hearing about when to sell the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at first, she was very skeptical when I took her to the Dave Ramsey class, okay? Financial piece. But yeah, it was during the class. I started learning more about the principles, and because you hear about all these things on the radio, and you try to put it together, and you will mess up quick if you don't get it right. We started going to the class, started learning about the money thing together, and we started working on our budget, started putting those dollars where they needed to go. It's amazing when you start handling God's money the right way, how things can just line up. It took us 31 months to pay off $47,990.23. I suggest anybody to take a look at the program if they're not already looked at it, because it changes your life.
We did it through me staying home and having her, and it really, if you stick to it, I mean, it's hard, it's not easy, but if you stick with it, then it is possible.
One thing I want people to know that might be out there that come from the type of background that I do, there's always hope. It is not too late. People always talk about the love of the streets. The streets ain't got no love for you. They only take you away from people that actually do love you. All of you have potential. Every one of us have potential. But the fact is I took those first steps and did it. And that's all I'm telling everybody out there is just do those first steps. Get away from that life. Quit losing people. There's babies out here growing up without families. My homeboy has a baby out there now without him. I don't ever want my daughter to see a life without me. And she won't.